as everything with this truck, everything is very close quarters. So I'm doing the upper radiator hose right now, which is going to be this tube. We're gonna have the rubber hoses in between so it's not a solid tube going to it, whatever. But I'm just getting it chopped up and fit, that way I can start welding it together, and then we're gonna do the lower hose out of another aluminum tube to make sure that we can keep, you know, everything as tight as possible without it actually rubbing against the water pump pulley or a belt or any other stuff. We're also using a portable bandsaw that we did a review on, or we're going to be doing a review on, however you see this. And so far I like it. We'll see at the end of this project if I absolutely love it or hate it. We'll find out. In.
Oh.
Pull it apart to make the whole couple more of those and we'll have a turn. If you're ever doing little tubing, aluminum tape or ducting tape, whatever it is, this shit's amazing for this. And then I just tack it and clean it off all the day. Let's see if this will fit. I'm gonna trim the rubber hose because this is more over the belt than I want, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just leave it that way because I could shove that. I'll do a longer piece. I have tubing. So this customer came in saying that they have a brake shutter and they think that it might have warped rotors. We're thinking something else. Gonna go with control arms, and from what Fred said, this side is worse, which means the other side is doing it too. So it'll be control arms first, and then we'll look at the brakes. Yup. From blind pushing. We'll go get the big pry bar and I'll show you why those little tears matter. So I can do that with very little effort, actually. I didn't need this big of a pry bar. Oh yeah, that one's really loose. It's what we call active suspension. Imagine going 80 and trusting that. Steve's over helping customers. I don't want to wait. So I'm going to show you this, considering he's working. But yeah, I got it in there. And I do like the fitment, because the other thing too is I can pull it towards the radiator or whatnot by trimming the rubber. I don't have to do anything with that. So I'm going to weld this piece together and then we'll move on to the bottom one, which has to go from there to there. Voila! The upper tube is done and we have clearance. It's not much, especially over by the water pump pulley, but it's not touching and it's got way more than a paper clearance. So we're going to move on to the lower one, which you can't really see much on. The other thing is we're pretty much out of welding gas, so I'm going to get everything kind of set up the way I want, and then we're going to move on to the intake tube, and then we're going to go get welding gas so I can just do all of it together. The lower one probably won't have as tight of clearances, but as I've said before, the outlet for the water pump is down here and it points this way. And then the radiator is down here, way down under there. You can barely see my finger, but yeah, that's where that is. So it's got to go Down, well, 90 out, down, 90 over, and then back into it, which I was able to go to O'Reilly's and go through their hoses to find nice little 90s that we could use.
That's when someone mixes up body fillers like peroxide. I'll grab one. There's like your juice.
Doesn't have an area. What are you seeing?
The rear main looks like it's leaking.
Okay,
That's valve covers.
Might have just peeks at that. But he just did one of the valve cover gaps.
I mean, rust wise, dude, it looks like it's pretty damn good.
right, like this is, you know, that could be either just grease from putting the sway bar on.
Okay, right.
It's not anything.
He has the other steering wheel, but he switched the stock, the blue steering wheel, out for this wood steering wheel.
That wood one's thick.
Do you like it? Yeah. Okay.
I don't think this is
Yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
We've been shunned to the outdoors. So, well, there's a lot of shit in Bay 1. I don't want to move it. We have 2 renters. But I'm working on the intake here. And so I have cut a lot of pie cuts. And this is essentially how I get them together, is the aluminum tape, just to hold it because it stays together for me to play with in here. And getting this all ran, so this is like, you know, the highest point where the fenders are going to sit. So I want to make sure that the intake isn't going to touch that, because most likely the hood is higher than where the bottom of the fenders mount. But we should be good there. And now the next thing is to have it to turn slightly down so the air filter and the mass airflow sensor can sit here. I'm just trying to figure out how I might have to do one of them in a weird spot. So now with these apart, we can have these separate. We'll do that. Maybe a little bit more. So getting this lined up to the angle that we want, which that looks good. Yeah, because it'll head down that way. And it didn't go up any higher with how the pie cuts are done. Yeah. Look at that. I am not looking forward to welding this.
You use the whole tank of gas?
Yeah, it'll be the whole tank. It'll be fucking 85 days. We'll see you guys next year when I'm finished this.
But you ain't gonna buy anything like that.
Fuck no, you're not. That is not on Jegs. I will tell you that much right now.
Oh. Just go film the driver's side wheel on that. You have to live chat.
'Tis a snug fit. Ah. Thank you, sir. Okay, and then this is a filter we just had. This is not what she's getting. We wouldn't do Judy that way. So essentially, it's going to sit in there just like that. We might do a slightly shorter filter that's, you know, a little bit maybe wider, but this should be, I like where this sits. I think that looks really good. I also went through and made the lower radiator hose. So just so you get an idea, this is essentially where it's going to be sitting under there. This bend is so that we can clear the crank or the crank pulley. We got some pictures of it fitting under there because it's, I mean, even with my phone shoving it up in there, it's hard to see everything. I had this all fit with the hoses. It should sit in there, and it's pretty affixed even without any clamps on it. But yeah, as you know, this part is the fabrication part, and I know you guys followed us through the engine mounts, which was an interesting time. It definitely took us a while to get the engine mounts and stuff done. This one, it's still got a good amount of welding on it. I mean, it'll probably be like a full day or so to finish that. But this is the end of fabrication as far as I know it on this front end. The only other thing that we got to do is get AC lines made, but they're going to have some hard ends on either side, which screw into it. And then we're just going to do hose in the middle. That way it's really easy for us to orientate everything. And next is going to be the wiring inside the engine or inside the cabin. We got to get the cluster and everything taken care of. So this will be done in the next video. We'll have the hoses all set up for the radiator hoses and clamped on. I don't know about starting it next video because the wiring is going to be pretty daunting. I think we're getting pretty close on this. I'm hoping sometime this month we'll be either really close to just it starting and getting a drive shaft made, or maybe even driving. We'll see how it goes.